Apparently not, so we'll split this in lecture part 1 and lecture part 2. You laugh at me one more time and I'm not gonna record any more lectures. Okay, eukaryotic cells. Eukaryotic cells are pretty variable. Prokaryotes are always single-celled organisms. With eukaryotes, you've got single-celled, you've got colonial, you've got multi-celled, you've got everything. You've got things that have cell walls like plants and fungi, you've got things that lack cell walls like animals. You've got big cells, you've got small cells, you've got everything in between cells. They're the most diverse group. The biggest thing that you need to know about them though are the organelles. The organelles are small structures within the cell that help it stay alive. They're small structures within the cell that help it stay alive. You will need to know these. You will need to know their functions. So first up is the nucleus. The nucleus stores DNA, and that's all. I know in high school they told you it was the command center of the cell or some such nonsense, but no, it doesn't direct anything. It's just a depository. The information is there, but it does not direct or control anything. It's just a storage place for the information. Everybody cool with that? Next up, we have, well, hang on before you write it and I'll tell you why. The endoplasmic reticulum. I am going to let you abbreviate that as ER. Capital E, capital R. Is everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
That's why I told you, unless you really want to write endoplasmic reticulum. Every single class or teacher I have ever had or been a part of, they always abbreviate that the ER. So I'll let you carry on the tradition. Has anybody in here ever been in an emergency room or a hospital ward where they've got those curtains that they pull?
Yeah.
They separate the big room into smaller areas, don't they? They screen it off, but they're not really completely separate. You see where I'm going with this? You may not be able to see what's going on. Sometimes you can hear it. Unfortunately, sometimes you can smell it. You know, it's not a total isolation. The ER is a network of membranes that's kind of like those curtains. It doesn't really section off or partition the cell. It just gives it a separate area that's a little bit different so things can be done there. Just a kind of private little alcove. It's still part of the cell, but it's got its own thing going on in there. Is everybody cool with that?
So it separates different parts of the cell?
Yeah, it just separates different parts of the cell. The ER comes in two flavors. There is the rough ER, which has little things called ribosomes stuck to it. R-I-B-O-S-O-M-E, a ribosome. So when you look at it, it looks rough because it's got all these things stuck to it. The ribosomes are where proteins are made. Ribosomes are where proteins are made. The ER, the rough ER, is where the proteins are folded and assembled. They're folded and assembled. And I'll give everybody a chance to write that down. Am I going slow enough for y'all? Next up, we've got the smooth ER. The smooth ER. This also lacks ribosomes. It does not have the ribosomes. Its function is lipid synthesis. Lipid synthesis. Fats and oils. That's where we put it together. Fats and oils, that's what lipids are. Everybody cool with that? Next up, we've got another membranous thing. In other words, it has its own membrane. And it's called the Golgi. The Golgi. Capital G, little O, little L, little G, little I. Golgi. I've seen it written as the Golgi body, the Golgi apparatus, plain old Golgi. Dr. Ross used to call it the fang. Not thing, fang. You gotta say it right.
Isn't that what they call Godzilla?
Wait, what? Somebody said something. Hand up.
Goji?
What about
Isn't that what they call Godzilla?
Godzilla? Godzilla? You mean the big lizard that stomps around and flames
Maybe
things?
it's because it was originally a Japanese movie and they can't pronounce certain things, so it's Godzilla.
Thank you for clarifying that, because I had no clue what was going on.
I swear.
You gotta remember, my cultural references are at least, at a bare minimum, 20 years out of date, more likely 40. To me, Godzilla was a very bad movie that came out in the 1990s.
The new ones are good.
Huh?
The newer ones are really good.
There are newer
American
ones?
Yeah, there's
Oh, yeah.
The American ones are pretty good, but also the new ones that.
Godzilla -1.
I gave up when they started making yet more Jurassic Park movies, and I realized that basically what they did was in 1993 they made a movie called Jurassic Park that was new and neat and original. Then they proceeded to remake it 50 times. The exact same plot. Hey, let's take this DNA and make some dinosaurs. I don't think that's a good idea. Let's do it anyway. Ah, people die. Some people get saved. Okay, end of the movie. Repeat.
Make some money.
Hey,
They do not want to learn from the past. They only want to create it.
if somebody can make money doing something stupid, I'm all for it. Just let me have a part of that racket is all I ask.
And never set foot on the island.
My dog chases a ball and loves it. I watched football the other day and realized there's an analogy here. I'll leave it at that. Ben looks like he's about to choke trying not to laugh.
Yeah, but your dog's not getting paid hundreds of millions of dollars to chase that
No,
ball.
she's not. But I very much wish she was, because I'd be her agent and take a cut. Anyway, back to the Golgi. It is like a sending and receiving center. If I order something from Amazon, somebody has to go pull it off the shelf, right? Then they have to package it in a box. Then they put my address on it. Then they ship it out. The Golgi does that for molecules that the cell sends to the outside. It is a packing and shipping center. If you write packing and shipping center on the test, do you think I'm gonna give you credit? I will, because that basically is what it does. So everybody with me on that, the building? Next up, we've got what's called the cytoskeleton. Cytoskeleton. Cyto is a Greek word meaning cell. You know what a skeleton is? It literally is just a network of tubes and cylinders or rods, filaments within the cell that hold it together. It's just a network of filaments and tubes in the cell that hold it together. It sometimes serves as like an anchor point for things, helps it move. At the end of the day, it's just support and shape. You could even say structure. And it's 3 o'clock, and I promised somebody I would do something that would benefit all of you. So how about we stop it there? Is everybody okay? So I believe we have something called an exam coming up soon. Yes, when is it coming up?
Next week.
Next Monday, 1 week from today, right? So how many of you would like an overview of how and what, and where I do exams? Does that sound good to everybody? Okay, so what I'm gonna shoot for will be 10 questions.